Hello everyone, today is May 8th. We are day 580 of the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, and it's sort of under debate of how many hostages we have. The official number is 59 are there, 24 are alive, but recently we have received a different number that it could be that there are 3 hostages that we don't know if they are alive or not. So prayer for that. Let's get on to our main articles for today. It says here, Mediniyut haftaot, a sort of a policy of a surprise. And you can see here, Bibi Netanyahu and Trump is sort of cooking something on the side, not sitting at the table. So we'll talk about all of that and how it relates to Israel. We'll also talk about Rivka Buchbut, who is the wife of Elkanah Buchbut, who is a hostage in Gaza. And then of course, we're gonna leave you guys with some good news. So let's get to it. Okay, so what happened a few days ago, if you guys have missed the news, is that Yemen, well actually let's start from before a few days ago. Yemen has constantly been attacking Israel, sending missiles, and one of them actually somehow, our air defense systems, they somehow missed one rocket and it landed near the Ben Gurion airport. And if you guys have seen the chasm that it created, it was like, meters and meters deep. And we retaliated. The Houthis said that they would basically threatened everyone to not fly to Israel. And of course, a lot of the international airlines canceled their flights, and that's affected us greatly. Not just, tourism, but just for people who live here, and it just affects so much. And so Israel retaliated in a way that was insane. So I'm going to show you guys first the picture. Here you see an airplane that has literally been just torched ablaze. And you can see, I don't know if that's a member of the Houthis, but we basically bombed their whole airport in Sana'a. And if you've seen the images of it, it was quite insane. There's absolutely nothing left of it, not the tarmac, not the airport, nothing. It's closed. And the reason for that is not just because Israel has attacked, but also America was in on that attack. It wasn't the only place that they decided to target. And here's where sort of Trump and our Israel-American relations come into play. And so here in the title it says, Mash'ir et Israel ba'avir. He's sort of keeping Israel sort of in the air, but really what it means is like leaving them high and dry. And that's because even though America decided to come in on the attack with Israel, they made a deal with the Houthis. Basically, the Houthis said, no more, we'll cease attacking American ships. And then Trump sort of took that deal and he's like, that's okay, we're gonna leave them alone. But the Houthis aren't the only enemy of Israel, and Israel heavily relies on our relationship with America to fight our enemies. You can also see here the negotiations with Iran, a deal with Saudi Arabia. Also Turkey, of course, is trying to overtake Syria and also sort of get to our border. And also, of course, we have the Gaza Strip that is always sort of on the line. Of course, a few months ago, Trump came out and said that he would make Gaza, the Trump of the Middle East, basically, that he would, take it and build it and make it wonderful. And now it's sort of not clear what is happening. And so if you are a praying person, please pray for the relations between Israel and America, because we are allies. We do rely heavily on each other in different ways. But they're sort of expressing here how, Trump is sort of, I don't know if to say fickle, but his policies are ever changing, and suddenly he's this and suddenly he's that, and then suddenly we get this surprise and we don't know what he's up to, and that affects us greatly. And so that is something for prayer. Now we're going to talk about one very strong woman's fight for her husband. We're going to talk about Rivka Buchbut, who is the wife of Elkanah Buchbut, who is a hostage in Gaza. He was at the Nova Festival. He's a musician. And that's how he was captured. Actually, just a bit ago, Rivka, his wife, threw an event for his birthday just across from where we're sitting now outside. You can watch it if you click the card in the right-hand corner. We covered that whole event, and so sad to know that not only are they missing out on his birthday because he's still there, he's been there over a year and a half. But in a month from now, his son, Re'em, will be 5 years old. So you have to think about it. When he was 3.5 years old, his dad was kidnapped. And so here it says, Amarti lo she'aba chai. She's talking about to her son. So she's saying, I told him that Abba is alive, that his dad is alive. Shu machzik ma'amad, that he's, holding on. Shehu gibor, that he's a hero. And I want you guys to look at this picture of Rivka and her little son Re'em holding a picture of probably, his 3.5-year-old self. You can see he's much older now with his father. It's so sad. You can see here also a photo of Elkanah in captivity in one of the Hamas propaganda videos. They have released a few propaganda videos of him, and of course, in all of them, you know that there's a side of truth to it, that of course what he's saying, begging to, to come out is true. But they really did such a horrible thing, to manipulate and to, show an anguish that puts a lot of pressure on the family. And so what they did, Hamas, is that they basically put him like on a phone as if he is talking to his wife and asking his son Re'em to lishmor al ima, to protect his ima, to take care of his ima, which I don't even know, like how cruel can you be, So they're suffering a lot. They're suffering a lot, these families. And it's something that we really need to continue to pray about. What's happening now basically is that Israel decided to continue with the fighting because there was no willingness from Hamas to release any new hostages. And so the hostages' families are afraid. They're saying, you are putting the hostages at risk. And it's a very, very complex reality. And so pray for Rivka Buchbut and pray for Re'em and of course Elkanah and all the other hostages. And now for some inspiring news. I used to be an athlete. I don't run anymore. So anyone who continues to run during their adulthood is very impressive to me. This here is Doron Atzmon. Hidgayes LaMarathon. He sort of, you can say like drafted to the marathon. Doron's story is that he basically created a underground club in Jerusalem after he was in a terror attack himself. And he chose after that terror attack to start a new life for himself in Australia. But after the 7th of October, they say here the Galei Hazazua, the waves of shock, reached him all across the sea. With the very bitter news that the son of his friend was murdered at the Nova Festival. He found a way to basically channel that pain again through running. And so he runs to fundraise for Israel. And you could just say that, the smile on his face, and what's wonderful here is wherever Israelis go when they are abroad, they don't overtake the country they're in, but they respect the country they're in. So they might combine their own culture, their own traditions, but they never force it on anyone. And that's something that you can see a lot within, Israelis when they live somewhere abroad. They embrace the culture they're in as well. And so you can see here that he has a flag that's both Israeli on one side and Australian on the other. And even here on his sort of pouch in the front, you see an Australian flag and an Israeli flag. And so he says, hi, I live in Australia. I'm thankful to live here. I'm also Israeli. And so he is running basically, not just for this fundraiser, but to show Israeli presence in the place where he is living. And so we are very, very thankful to Doron Atzmon, and we wish for him healing, and also for his friend who his son was murdered. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you. Let us know where you are watching us from. If you want more Israel-related content, go to allisrael.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, and we will see you guys in the next one.